Welcome. In this video, we learn how to trigger a manual failover and achieve role switchover in DR clusters. After the configuration is done and enabled, data center redundancy is achieved in the following methods. Trigger failover. This is to manually trigger a failover in the event of a failure or planned maintenance. It is the process of intentionally switching over from primary to secondary. Auto failover. This is automatic failover where the secondary system switches role as primary when a failure is detected. This video is about triggering a manual failover. HP Aruba Networking Central on-premises supports data center redundancy to ensure services are available with minimum downtime in case of a failover. You can trigger a manual failover to switch roles of the cluster. Before triggering the manual failover, ensure that you have configured and enabled data center redundancy. The configuration workflow consists of first scheduling backup on both COP clusters, second, pairing the clusters, and lastly, enabling the redundancy. Ensure to go through these prerequisites and important points. These are the prerequisites. Ensure that the Enable Redundancy toggle switch is turned on. Ensure both the clusters are active and healthy. Ensure that the data sync status or restore status of the secondary cluster is displayed as successful on the web UI. If incremental backup type is configured on DR-enabled clusters and a failover occurs, the backup and restore of data on the new primary or secondary does not continue for remaining days of the current cycle. Instead, it starts new from the next cycle. Also, please note the following limitations. After the failover, the administrator must set up the controller WebSocket configuration to the new primary HP Aruba Networking Central on-premises cluster. During any system operation, the DR operation such as failover is not allowed until that system operation is completed. The following screen will show you how to trigger manual failover on data center redundancy-enabled clusters through the web UI. On the cluster with the current role as primary, navigate to Data Center Redundancy tab under System Management. On the Redundancy Status table, verify that the health status is good on both clusters, and the data sync status is displayed as successful. Click Trigger Failover to initiate the switchover of the role. Click Yes in the confirmation window. Because switchover is a system operation, all system operations will be disabled till the active system operation is complete. And this message is displayed on the web UI. You can also see that Trigger Failover button is disabled. The web UI of the cluster with the current role as secondary was inaccessible because it was redundant. After the switchover, it will become accessible. The switchover is completed. The web UI is accessible for the new primary. And on the redundancy status table, you can see that the roles are switched. The cluster that had primary role before the switchover, the web UI becomes inaccessible because it is now redundant. We have completed the procedure of triggering a manual failover and achieved the switchover of roles on DR clusters. Thank you for watching. We encourage you to go through the documentation for more details.